Hello YouTube and welcome to this edition of Race Car Fabrication and Restoration. I'm Ronnie Humphrey. Thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that like button if you haven't done so. I'd greatly appreciate that. Well, in our last episode, we got this cowl panel put in on the passenger side. Well, I've got the one for the driver's side today. We're going to see if we can try to get this thing in. It is in rough shape. Got to do some welding and fabrication to it before we get it mounted. So let's see what we can get done. Stay tuned. All right, as I've said on many other episodes, these panels were originally welded into the car solid when the car was built. We want to make them removable. That's one thing we're going to change on the design of the car so we can get better access to the glass. And we've got to figure out, the issue is, this was a welded seam. Well, that's plain and simple. To make it removable, we added this tab here, but now I've got to figure out how to make this transition on this joint right here to make it look right. So we've got to think on this for a little bit and come up with a game plan. I've got this spaced up right now. I do like the way this is fitting as far as height, and we can build this up a little bit on the hood to match this cowl, but that's not a whole lot of difference right there, so it looks pretty good. We just got to play with it here a little bit, and main thing I want to do about this corner here. Okay, I think the only thing I can do here is come back. We're going to have to add a piece of metal right here, a piece of steel. I've got to weld this in to close this gap up. That's the only thing I see to do to make it look right. First thing we're going to do, we're going to take this panel, I'm going to take a file and try to square this up on the edge here so it'll match a straight seam going up and down the hood. And this is really, really thin metal, but the good thing is it'll file easy. And it is sharp as a razor blade. Okay, I've got this sitting just about where I want it. You can see where I will weld a tab on this and it will connect to the airbox support. This is where this was welded originally, right there. Now over here, I've got everything cleaned up so I can come here and put a tab. So we'll just fill this in with a piece of metal here and shape it at the top. And then I've already got this trimmed off on the bottom. There was a lip on there. Well, we'll put a lip up under this so it slips under that. That way this panel can't come up. So I think it's pretty straightforward. Just gotta get in there and find me a piece of metal so we can weld this in and get this, see if we can get some body filler in here and get this taken care of. All right, I got this piece of metal cut and just got it roughly trimmed in. I shaped it just a little bit in the vise, but we'll go ahead and weld it in here like this. I'm gonna cut this corner off first, but we'll tack this in and then we'll come back with the Ziz wheel and trim a little bit of it off. I'm gonna take a little bit of length off this as well. All right, that should work. Touch it up on the grinder just a little bit, and that should do it. I'm gonna put this piece of metal in here to protect this as well. I got one shot doing this. I want to make sure, there we go. Okay, that looks pretty good there. All right, it looks a lot better now. So now we have something to work with. We've got this edge here corrected. And so now I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna trim this right here. I'm gonna lay this out with a marker first, grind this down, and then that's gonna be in pretty good shape. Then we'll have to put our piece on the bottom of this panel, and that'll be the next step. All right, that's where we wanna cut it. I've got this piece where I want it. So all that's still adjustable over here, so I want to start off from this and work in that direction. we're gonna make us a straight line here now. I'm gonna cut just a little bit off. I can always come back and cut more later on if I need to. That's pretty good shape there. So we'll cut that off now, and then we'll work on our tab and slip up under here. All right, put our piece back in there. I'm trying to keep his line coming up here, so we'll just have a little bit of a groove right here. We'll cut it, and we'll fill this up with body filler, and that's going to look really, really sharp. I like our transition here now, so that's good. So let's see if we can get this other panel. I'm going to bend to 90. Got to get this panel cleaned up too, but bend to 90, and you'll get the gist of it. But anyway, that'll slip up under there and that'll hold it in place. See if we can get this thing here cleaned up now. Man, that piece was very difficult. I finally gave up on it, and I got it clean enough that we can keep rolling here, but that is some hard paint and baked in the sun for many years. But what I did, I put me a locator mark here so I can see my spacing I want back here on the back side. And this is where we just trimmed off. So this is how much room we've got to work with. So I'm gonna put my tab probably about just an inch long is all. So we'll go see if we can bend it up now. All right, got our piece laid out here. It doesn't be very big. I'll put some marks in there kind of where I want it. I'll go ahead and make it a little bit longer so I can put a 90 in it first. Then we'll come back and trim it down to the height we want. I'm just going to guesstimate this. That's some tough metal to be in there when it's that short. Now we'll come back and we'll just trim this to the height that we need. But we'll spot weld this on there and try everything first, obviously, before we weld it up solid. Amazing how that cutting wheel does not make anything hot. Now, you see we've got it down to our height a lot closer now. It's a lot easier, obviously, to bend it while it was longer than it is short. All right, I've transferred some lines over here to where I want this in position. Also went and got me a little small piece of metal and shimmed this up, as you can see. So like I say, we'll just tack it at first and see what we end up with. And we'll slide this back just a hair. And you always want to not weld anything too much. Plus, this is real thin, so we don't put a whole lot of heat in this panel here. All right. Three little tack welds in there. We'll slip our spacer out and we'll see how this works. Hopefully be close enough. Oh my goodness. Look at that. First try, can't believe it. All right, we got the hard part done. Now it's going to be downhill from here. I just simply need to make a tab so we can weld or actually bolt it to that red piece there from the original airbox. So we'll cut a piece and I've got to mark where it needs to go. It'll be pretty simple. Okay, we got this clamped in position here, and I don't want it to hang down too far because I have to be able to lift it up to slide it out. So I think we're just going to guess, see if that's about right there. So we'll get this tacked in position here. Okay, I spaced up my panel just a little bit there with a wood strip, and we're going to mark down here about, put a 1/4 inch hole about right there. There we go. Put a bolt in it and we'll be done. Okay. Well, that didn't take very long, but everything is solid now, solid as a rock. Come back with body filler, fill this in here now. And I've got just a little bit of trimming to do right here. I may kind of trim that just about 1/8 of an inch, plus put a little more body filler in here. Everything's solid, bolted in. If you open up the hood, I have just enough clearance. There you go. Well, we made it through that little project and no women, children, or animals were hurt in the process. I did get a burned finger and a cut finger, but I guess that counts for something. But we have both of the cowl panels in now. That is another major step towards getting the primer on this thing. I'm gonna spray a little body filler over here on this corner, and then that's gonna wrap this dude up. As always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so. Have a fantastic rest of your day. We'll see you next time on Race Car Fabrication and Restoration. God bless you. You take care.